I'm trying and I'm trying. I'm trying to get this screen capture and the sound capture to work simultaneously. I think I'm getting it. This is my third attempt. But I want to show you something about the Variax. Sorry. And some of the things you can do. What I talked about Black Velvet as an example. This is the guitar. You can hear through the microphone. I'm going to turn up. It's a half step down. And it's a J200 guitar. And the down tuning is programmed in the snapshot in the Helix. You can do it on the guitar too, but when you work it together with the Helix, it's a little more optimal to have the up and down tunings in the presets or patches. And there can be a little artifact when you hear the strings from this guitar through this microphone and the down tuned. It's not a big problem when you have headphones on or you're playing just loud enough. You can't hear it at all. It's only when it's very soft, and like now I'm talking through a microphone and picking up the string noise. So now, second point. When I go to the chorus, back to acoustic. I tried having a digital simulation of this. So I have one bank, my first bank, let's find it. If I go to the chorus, now you can see it says T model, but if I go to my custom one, here I have the same guitar virtually. So here I have a Strat, and I even have different humbuckers depending on the position. That's so cool. And also, you know, if you have an older Strat, position 2 and 4 maybe lower in volume than 5, 3 and 1, but in the software you can actually make every position, adjust the volume of every position, so you have an even volume across however you want it. That's very cool. But I found that the digital simulation guitar didn't really work that well. It worked, but if I took the original guitar and pitched it down half a step, it worked better. So here I'm using a pitch, simple pitch, pitching everything down a half step, and then I have a bank here that used to be Telecasters, but if you look at the magnetic splint, it's on 100%. So what I have is 100% magnetic pickups coming from this. So you can still do some programming, but you're getting the magnetic pickups here, and with a pitch for the chorus and the lead. And when I go back to the quieter parts, then I have the jumbo on. And mind you, if you look at my patch here, there's no amp, there's no IRs. When I go to the chorus, boom, we're back to electric guitar. And part of the puzzle is I have two combos with to Katana 100, the first edition, with Celestion F12-X200 speakers. So I have a stereo setup with a very clean power section. And I went through the whole process, you know, from loading down amps and attenuators and thinking, well, if I had a Fryette, I could insert effects in the end and then boost everything up with maybe clean power amps and so on. But in the end, I was very intrigued by the idea that I could actually do the whole chain in the Helix, meaning, you know, pedals, amp, distorting amp, and adding effects, and then having IRs on for front of house. And then I found out, well, because there's always a compromise with acoustic sounds. So I took a chance and I got the Celestion speakers to be able to have also good acoustic sounds in my cabinets, in my amps. And if because I was already using Celestion IRs, and Celestion IRs are good, so I was willing to try the concept that when you have your amp with an IR into an full frequency speaker, it should work, and actually it does, because the Celestion speakers do not sound like stage monitors. They have a kind of a different way of reproducing. So guitar IRs work very good in them, and then you take the IRs off, and then you have a full range speaker for your acoustic sounds, and that is brilliant, because that has been a big problem before. You should have two amps, and one for acoustic and one for electric. Now the whole package is there. The only thing that's not in the package are real tubes. Now actually I would have liked to have a tube power section on combos, just a combo with a tube power section to run those. But then again, you actually want as even as a power amp as you can have for this kind of concept. So you could say, well, you don't have a real tube amp anywhere. That's true. But I was thinking, if the amps in the Helix world are pleasing enough, then the whole concept is in place. And if I really don't miss having a 100-watt tube amp, you know, getting hot and making noise, but get the same kind of response inside the Helix, then I have the whole package, and I don't have to have pedal board, have amp, have attenuators, have effects loops, all these things that can go wrong. So, and there's a much better chance that you don't have all the noise issues that come up. So I tried it, I like it, it's working, and of course there's a lot of time spent programming and adjusting, and you need to have all that time to make it really, you know, really be good. But now I know I can have, because I can actually sit at home with my studio monitors and do the fine-tuning and reliably put that through my combos, and it will work. That's the really, really big thing, you know, that you can. I have some three-way monitors which are really good, so they're not colored they're not really colored. So I can work with a very clean slate on my speakers, and then send that to my actual guitar amps, and it will work. And that's really, really big. That's a really, really big advantage to have. So it's a smaller setup, and it's very, very potent. And now let me show you what can be done from the guitar point of things from the Variax. Okay, so yeah, let's just take the guitar. If I take my first bank, here I have a virtual HSS strat, and the big thing about that is you can detune, and you can adjust volume, all that, change pickups, whatever. But you can actually have your guitar and detune it however you want it. So that's a really, really big thing. So it's there. Now, next. It says T model, and that's a trick of the light, or what you want to call it. But that's actually this guitar, because you can see magnetic is 100%. So that gives me a bank where I have this guitar, and that comes in handy when you're blending sound, because you can actually blend both the virtual and the magnetic. And I have actually a preset where I have half magnetic, half impulse, so that works. When you have the same tuning, you can have electric and acoustic guitar at the same time. That's really good. Okay, next. Here I have a Cabronita strat. And you know that you can do this, you know, just by having the idea. You can go in and, you know, add the pickups, change the pickups. It's wonderful for a creative mind. Okay, next. Here we go to the Lester, and then we have Les Paul with humbuckers, P90s. Does it sound like a Les Paul? I don't know, but it's, the concept is very strong. And when we go to a special, then I have a little Les Paul Junior, and I have a Gretsch with Firebird pickups. A big fan of Firebird pickups. Then you have, like, you know, and we move on. Then we have Eddie Cochran, and we have Gretsch. And then we have Rickenbackers. Sometimes you have to switch it on off. It's still a little fiddly with the programming. So, and Gretsch with regular humbuckers, Gretsch with P90s, and then we have jazz box, a bank with jazz boxes, and acoustics. J200, D28, 12 string, and then this one, if you take a closer look here, this is a mix of magnetics and this one. So if I start detuning, I will get in trouble, so I have to remember. But here I have electric and acoustic together. Very, very interesting. Okay. Then we have the special, what you call the resonators. Dobro. Banjo. And the last bank I have, well, now, That's a regular E. And then I have a down-tuned E. And for maybe one day, worship again, a Cabronita Telecaster. And I don't own any guitar with filtertrons on yet. So just the idea that you can go into this program and kind of make up your dream guitar. It may not be perfect, but the concept is there, and it's really it's a thrill to be able to do that. It's good fun. So that's big. Okay, let me show you another example. Let's take Baker Street. First of all, there is an intro with a keyboard plays and high voice, and I do some chords behind. And there's an auto swell, which so I don't have to use my foot. That's nice. Okay. Now when we get to the end, I like to do that once in a while for fun, and you probably guessed it. That's right, that's a sitar. So you can always raise a smile when you do this nonsense, right? That's very funny. Yeah. So, this is really an interesting package. The way the Helix and the Variax are able to work together. And I have a Cat5 cable. And in the beginning I had some problems with the connection, and I found out actually it was the cable. So I had to learn to make my own Cat5 cables. So I learned that in the process, and since then I haven't had any problems. Also in the beginning there was sometimes that software would crash with the Helix. It's become much better, much more stable. So because you always want to have something, some kind of backup plan if you have to. If something goes down, you need to go to either the amp direct or have a DI pedal to worst case scenarios always. So I spend a lot of time with the Helix and programming and finding out what works, and there's still a lot to learn, but it gives me a lot of variation. When I have the time to do the programming, most things I can imagine can be done. But I hope that you can see when you combine it with the Workbench for the software here, and all the guitars you can have at the flip of a switch, you know. It can be confusing, and there's a lot to remember, and sometimes, you know, you have to think more simple because it gets out of hand and you get confused. But when you have worked the presets for a while and you have things under control, it's powerful. It's really good. So I want to say a little about the guitar. It's a Korean-made JTV-69, James Tyler designed. I like it a lot. I really do like it a lot. Let me get the screen up a little. Here we are, something like this. Bang, boom. Okay, what this can do, Is this the camera? Let's see, can we do this? Can we zoom it? No. Okay. I modified it with the DiMaggio HS2s, and the tremolo arm is very interesting because you can there's a counter screw in the bottom that goes up the arm, so when you push the arm in, you can actually turn it and set the height at your desired level, and then adjust the tension. Most push-in arms only have one height, but this one you can actually set to your desired height. That's brilliant. That's just good design. I don't know, maybe I talk too much, but I hope you can see what is possible to be done with this, because the way you can separate to front of house, and well, yeah, that's my, I want to make this point. It used to be that I was able to, I needed to have two lines, one made for front of house and one made for my amps. But the problem was sometimes when I needed to adjust something on one of those lines, I wasn't sure that, like if I raised the volume on the combos, I wasn't sure always that the front of house was getting the same, because they were not running parallel out. What I can do now is I can have the exact same signal going to front of house and to the combos. So if I'm too loud in the combos, I'm too loud in the front of house sound. So that's big, 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 big. Of course, you can make a programmable boost just on the one line to make your amps be louder than the front of house if the soundman wants it. But the idea is that front of house and amps follow in parallel the outputs, and that's big because it gives a calm, you get a calm mind, because you know if I'm too loud here, I'm too loud in front, simple as that. Or if I'm too low, I'm too low in the front. So I love this option. I've been looking for years to trying to find a way to make this reliable and predictable, and I got it. So if you need to know more about it or just have a few questions, well, let me know. I'm not an oracle, but I have a lot of experience in trying to match these things. So just write me. Okay.